guys, welcome back to Anything Alexia. My name is Alexia, and today we're gonna be looking at another My Story animated called After 30 Years, I Was Still 16. Now somebody please explain that math to me because it doesn't make sense. If you haven't heard already, I recently started channel memberships on Anything Alexia. This is more behind the scenes exclusive family content, so if you wanna go check that out, click the join button beside the subscribe button on my channel.
My name is Amara and I am 17 years old, but I seem to be the only one who believes that. Don't get confused just yet. I'll tell you everything and I'm sure you'll agree with me too. I remember that I was 15 when my parents relocated to America from India. My dad was quite rich, so we lived in the richest neighborhood in the city, and I was attending the most expensive high school. My parents gave me and my little sister everything we wanted, but my little sister got more because, well, she was my dad's favorite.
Okay, sis, you just gonna start off the story flexing on us like that? Here I am feeling lucky if I get an extra scoop of ice cream. She's out here accepting diamonds and pearls and going to the most expensive school in the country.
I was 3 years older, but she was smarter. I envied her when she got all the praises, but I was more interested in partying and shopping with my friends. One time, I was at a party when I had an exam, and my dad called me and said, "If you don't do well in school, I'll not include you in my will." Let's just say I failed so bad that I had to change schools. My new school was cooler than the first. There were hotter boys and sassier girls. If I didn't come from a rich home, I would have felt like a loser, but I got along just fine. I didn't tell you, I'm a great dancer, right? Well, I'm such a badass that I became the captain of the cheerleading squad.
Are we sure that you became the captain based on your good dancing skills? Or did you really become the captain because your daddy bribed you in there? Okay, let's go. The money will let you go.
I know I already said the boys at the school were super hot, but if there's a word that can be used to describe someone who is way hotter, then you can insert it here for Greg, the captain of the basketball team. We started dating after he walked up to me one day and was like,
hey, I hear you're the captain of the cheerleading squad and I'm the captain of the basketball team, so naturally, I think we just need to date. High school rules.
"Hey, I love your birthmark and I think you're really cute. Want to hang out sometime?" That was the beginning and end of that. Everything might have seemed perfect with me, but as an Indian, it was hard for me to pronounce some English words correctly. I once pronounced bicycle at my former school as bicycle, and it made everyone laugh and make fun of me for about a week. I started taking special English classes, but to avoid embarrassment at my new school, I just stuck with words I was confident of pronouncing or pointing to things I wanted to talk about. At first, my friends thought I was weird, but they got used to it. But I was quite comfortable with Greg, so I didn't mind making those mistakes around him, as he seemed like he didn't care about it. Greg and I spent a lot of time going to the movies, arcades, and live concerts. We were almost inseparable. In fact, you can't see me anywhere and not find him close by or something. We were the perfect couple, and everyone wanted their relationship to be like ours. Once, while we were hanging out, I told him I would like to live with him on a remote island and have twins with him. The thought of a life without Greg in it always made me cringe. Then, a new girl showed up. Her name was Lucy, and she was very pretty. You can call it jealousy, but on her first day of school, everyone in class was like, "Ooh, she's so hot," and it made me uncomfortable. One day, she came up to me and said, "Hi, Amara, I heard you're the cheerleading captain. When can I come for tryouts?" I wanted to tell her that we weren't open to new intakes, but I saw a chance to make life a bit miserable for her, and I took it.
Oh no, this ain't gonna end well. First, Amara is pissed because the other girl is pretty, and now she's trying to get revenge on her and make her look stupid in the cheerleading tryouts. I don't like where this is going.
I gave her the hardest stunts, but she killed it. She even asked me if that was all I've got. I was angry, but not as mad as when I heard the others in the changing room saying that she was better than I was. I was sitting with Greg one afternoon, and then she comes over and says, "Hi, Greg, I'm a huge fan of yours. Can I take a picture with you, please?" Of course, Greg didn't say no, and he even asked me to take the picture. She kept holding on to him like he was her boyfriend. I couldn't take it anymore, and I told her to get her hands off him.
Okay, this one I agree with Amara. If someone was laying their hands on my man like that, oh no. It ain't gonna end well. That is if I actually had a man to defend. But you guys get what I'm saying. Cause if I did, the claws would be out. Woo!
She started crying like I was the monster, and Greg hugged her and apologized. She made faces at me as he did, and that was when I realized that she was probably sent from hell to take everything from me. Greg and I were supposed to see a movie one evening, but he canceled and said he was having a family hangout. I was bored and didn't want to stay home, so I asked my friends if we could hang out, but they said Lucy had already invited them for karaoke at a bar. I decided to join them since I wanted to see why Lucy was so great and I no longer was. I drove to the bar and noticed Greg's car was parked outside. I parked opposite the bar and called him, but he ignored all my calls. The next thing, he came out of the bar holding Lucy by the waist, and they were laughing like lovers.
Oh no! Greg might as well be a cat with black and yellow spots because this dude's a cheetah, and we don't like that kind of feline around here.
I got out, and when Greg saw me, he froze. I started walking towards them when a drunk driver knocked me into oncoming traffic. I got hit by a second car that kind of crushed my skull, and I became unconscious. That was what led me to my coma. I remember when I first woke up. I thought I had just woken up from a deep sleep, but I had all this medical stuff on my body and my family were excited. I asked how long I had been unconscious, and they told me 13 years.
Oh! I'm sorry, doctors say what now? 13 years? That's longer than I've even had my dog Peaches. Longer than my mom has been alive. Oh wait, no, not the second one. But 13 years is a long time.
I was already 30. I cried and tried to catch up with everyone. My little sister was done with college and had just landed a high-income job. Even in my condition, I still felt envious. The doctors were thrilled and informed my parents that they would let me go when they were done with some tests. But the next day, I could no longer speak, and I slipped back into a coma and never woke up again. Well, until now, 20 years later. Did you know that someone can wake up from a coma for a day or two and then go back? Now you know.
Whoa.
You're welcome. So, how did I wake up again? Everyone, including the doctors, was about to give up on me because they felt I would never wake up again. Then my sister remembered I loved listening to music, so she got me some headphones and put them on me. I don't remember much about my coma, but I heard a familiar song playing and I followed the sound. Amazingly, I opened my eyes. The doctor said my brain rewired itself over the years till the connections were enough for me to wake up, but my sister still believes music woke me up. Did you also know that people waking up from a coma and speaking a foreign language fluently is an actual thing? Yeah, it's called bilingual aphasia. It happens when one area of the brain that knows a language is damaged, and meanwhile, another area remains untouched.
Excusez-moi, madame? Qu'est-ce que vous avez juste dit? Je comprends pas.
I could hardly speak my native language, and when my sister kept talking to me in our language, I couldn't respond. I spoke to her in English, and I was shocked at how fluent I was. I tried pronouncing the words I used to find difficult, and it was so easy. My parents weren't there, and when I asked, I found out they had died 5 years back. My dad had left me a lot of money, but most of it had gone into my hospital care. My sister was married and had 2 grown kids. She looked way older than I remembered her, and I even mistook her for one of the nurses when I first woke up. At that moment, I felt so bad for envying and resenting her over the years, because she ended up being the only one who stuck by me through the years. I was discharged from the hospital after a few weeks and placed under therapeutic care at home. So I went home, and the first thing I did was to look in the mirror. I almost jumped out of my skin when I saw my reflection. This isn't me. Tell me it's not true.
She be seeing a couple of damn wrinkles, maybe a little sagginess, droopy eyes, and she said, oh no, this can't be me. You're telling me I have to go through life looking like this? Oh no, I'm out.
I had the body of a 47-year-old, but my thoughts were just like when I was 17. Well, I told my therapist about it, and she called it post-coma. I didn't believe her until I showed up at my niece's 16th birthday party and tried to do cool stuff. Her friends seemed impressed and gathered around me to ask me how I could act and talk like I was 17. They found me quite interesting. Everything had changed from what I used to remember. First, my favorite band was no longer together, and they were much older. There was nothing like a Walkman or a Game Boy anymore. They were all replaced with some things my sister calls iPods and PlayStations. Everything was different, and it was a lot to take in at once. I once asked my sister's teenage daughter if I could use Netscape Navigator on her phone, and she laughed after telling me she didn't know what that was. She was kind enough to show me how to use the current browsers today and the popular social media platforms too. Then one day, I saw my niece watching something on her phone, and I was interested. It was a video about a girl in a coma on My Story Animated channel. I got so interested in the channel that my niece jokingly said, "Maybe you should send your story to them too." I bought the idea and contacted them immediately. They were thrilled to hear my story. Plus, here's a secret. I'm afraid that I could wake up tomorrow and not even remember who I am anymore.
Oh, girl, if I just lost 30 years of my life sleeping on some crusty hospital bed and woke up at 47, I might want to forget who I am too. Ooh, that can't be fun.
So this story you were watching is like my open diary too. I was curious about how Greg must have turned out, but my sister didn't have much to tell me.
Hold up, you telling me you're still crushing over that peach hole, Greg? Excuse me, miss? Did you forget that good-for-nothing loser cheated on you 30 years ago with some random girl named Lucy? Did you forget that the whole freaking reason that you ended up in this coma was because of him? Excuse me, miss? I think you forgot.
She just said that he stopped visiting me at the hospital after a year. I was mad that despite being the cause of my coma, he could only visit for a year out of 30. After stalking him on Instagram for a while, I found out where he worked, and I decided to visit him. When I arrived at his office, I wasn't let in because I didn't have an appointment, and I didn't want him to know it was me. So I hung around for a bit for when he would be going out for lunch, and I followed him.
All right, sweetie, this is getting a little weird. I'm all about helping him fix his wrongs that he's done to you, but the stalking and following, ooh, I don't know about those. You be out here creeping your eyes through the wall like you're some detective trying to solve a criminal case. He's definitely a jerk, but it ain't that deep.
But when I approached him, he wasn't Greg, it was someone else. I was stalking someone else on Instagram all this time. After looking for him for weeks, one day my sister said, "I found Greg, but promise me you won't do anything stupid." I gave her my word, and she told me I could find him at a coffee shop that he visited every morning. I went to the coffee shop the next morning, and I had to keep checking the picture she showed me to make sure I didn't miss him. When he saw me, he didn't recognize me at first, until he saw the birthmark on my cheek. It was like he just saw a zombie. We sat down to talk for a little while, and I asked him why he cheated on me and didn't even come to see me at the hospital again. He was shocked I was still holding on to that memory after so many years.
You mean the traumatic, life-changing event that almost ended her life? You're shocked that she remembered that? Oh, yeah, I am too. Not?
He apologized and asked us to meet again the next day. The next day, Greg didn't
say
come
no.
around, and it was like that for weeks. It was then I knew he had stopped coming to the coffee shop because of me. It hurts. My sister told me to let go since he already apologized, but I wasn't going to end 30 years of a coma with just, "I'm sorry," from the guy who caused it. But no one was willing to give me any information, not even the coffee shop where he had been going for years. I gradually slipped into depression because, although he had matured and was older than what I could remember, my 17-year-old mind was still in love with him. My sister had to sign me up for personal counseling, as I was always sad. Personal counseling helped, and I became stable again. I wanted a job, but I needed a diploma for that. Going back to school at my age was the last thing on my mind. I couldn't imagine being in the same class with students half my age and being older than most of my teachers. But I decided to go for it anyway. On my first day in class, some of my classmates thought I was their new instructor, but when they saw I wasn't, they didn't make a fuss of it like I thought. In fact, some of them started calling me their surrogate mom away from home. It feels weird to be referred to as an elder when you know you aren't.
But you are, because you're 47, almost 50 years old. You see how that works? Hey, I'm not age shaming or anything, but you kinda old.
I wasn't going to ruin anything and tell them, hey guys, I'm actually 17. I just have this old body. You won't understand. If there's anything I can't stand, it's being called crazy. I was already getting over my obsession with Greg when I was at a coffee shop and I saw someone who looked like him. He was laughing with a pretty woman, and it looked like they had a thing. He kept touching her hair, and it felt like when I had caught him with Lucy. I didn't want to go over and embarrass myself like the last time, but the resemblance was too striking. I walked over to him and touched his shoulder. When he turned to look at me, it was him. His look of surprise quickly dissolved into a frown, and he asked if I had been stalking him. I was about to respond when I noticed the ring on his finger.
I was about to respond and say, yes, I have been stalking you for quite some time. I know everything about you, except that you're married. Ooh, guess I'm not as good as I thought. Wait, are you married to me? Is that one of those things that I forgot in my coma? When was the wedding? Show me my ring.
I wondered why I didn't the last time we met. Now, I know he could have moved on, but I was mad that he was so comfortable to settle down after abandoning me at the hospital. I called him a monster and left after giving his date a hateful look. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Facebook is like the easiest place to find someone. At least that's what one of my classmates told me, and it worked. I found Greg's profile and I went through his posts with one agenda: to find out more about the woman he was with, because I thought she was his wife. But I wasn't only shocked to find out that he was cheating when I saw him, I found out he was married to Lucy. The shock turned into rage when I saw they had 2 teenage boys and they looked perfect. That should have been me. I found Lucy's page too, and I had to stop myself from commenting nasty things all over her pictures. 30 years later, and I still want revenge. I remembered the lady at the coffee shop, and an idea struck. I thought it was going to be difficult because I thought Greg wouldn't come to the coffee shop again, but fate was on my side. I didn't see him there for a few more weeks, but he came around with the same woman. I held up a menu so he wouldn't notice me, and I took a video recording while they were French kissing.
Not only did he cheat on you with that girl Lucy, but now he's cheating on that girl Lucy with this girl. Man, cheaters will never change. Once a cheater, always a cheater. But I'm just saying. But to be honest, I don't know why Amira wants to get revenge on Lucy so bad. Clearly, the karma has already got her. Her husband that she has 2 kids with is cheating on her. Isn't that punishment enough? Maybe that coma was the best thing that ever happened to ya, because it made you dodge a bullet of marrying the worst dude in the history of all dudes.
It was the perfect moment. I didn't open my Facebook account with my real name or pictures, so I was quick to upload the video and I tagged Lucy and Greg. I captioned the post as, "A cheater never changes" at Greg, and "What goes around comes around" at Lucy. The post had hundreds of views and comments, including hateful, sad ones from Lucy and Greg. I finally got my revenge.
What? That's how it ends there? With her exposing them online and then both of them probably breaking up? Ooh, that got pretty dark pretty quickly. I mean, I get it, you're upset that he's a cheater and she betrayed you, but I think exposing them online for the world to see went a little bit too far. But anyways, guys, that is the whole video that I have for you from My Story Animated. If you liked today's video, don't forget to smash that like button as hard as you can. And if you want to be a part of the exclusive Anything Alexia family, don't forget to click that join button on my channel. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.